I just wanted to let you know it's happening, and the recording started. So welcome to class, welcome to this evening flow. We're going to work on a posture. It's one of my favorite postures. It's one that many people love, and it's called the dancer's pose, that you've probably come across before. And in Sanskrit, Natarajasana. Now, it's a beautiful posture because there's a standing balance involved. There's also a back bend involved. So it's really a combination of techniques. But we'll begin with a flow and sun salutations to get warmed up. And it's going to be a luxurious, heart-opening, back-bending kind of a flow to begin with. So start by coming into your mat. Bring the toes together, knees are apart, and we're moving towards child's pose. Have the knees as far apart as you like to really make this accessible. And then bending forward, bring yourself to child's pose. If child's pose is not for you, you can always take this on your back. So, and then it essentially becomes happy baby. So choose your option, which looks like this, baby or child. And take a moment to start to settle. Feeling the forehead softening. And if it's not in contact with the ground, you can grab a blanket, a pillow, a sweater, and put it beneath the forehead. And with each inhale, feel the shoulder blades gently moving apart. One of the things that happens in child's pose is that the breath starts to move into the upper back, into the back body. And with each exhale, feeling the hips firming towards the heels. They may not reach the heels, but feel that that's the direction. And feel the hands secure on the ground, long out in front of you with each exhale too. And feel your way into this pose, into this moment. And bring the mind as well as the body onto the mat and into this practice. Now on your next inhale, move the hands towards yourself and lift yourself up until you're in a kneeling position on your mat. Bring the toes apart and now take the hands behind you. And you can either have the fingers going out to the side or have them turned away from your feet, away from the seat, so the fingers are pointing behind you. And on inhale, start to take a very soft camelish shape, lifting the chest, lifting the body, feeling the fronts of the hips, and in fact the entire front body gently lifting, feeling the support of the back of the torso, the shoulder blades as you do that, and then bring the hips back to the heels, sweep the arms forward and come back into your child's pose. After taking a breath there, we're going to slowly sweep the hands back, lift up to kneeling and move back into that hip lifted position. Stretching, starting to feel your day shedding, being just flowing away from you on the mat, and then bring yourself back into child's pose. And then one more time, sweep the hands behind you, and this time we're going to expand on what we've done so far. Lift the hips, set the hips back towards the heels, and now sweep the hands forward, and this time keep the chest lifted, keep the hands grounding, like firming into the ground beneath you, and start to bring the entire chest forward. So you move through tabletop for a moment. So you're on your hands and knees for a moment, and then keeping the hands where they are, continue forward, firm the belly in towards the spine until you land on your chest and your hands are around the lower ribs with the fingers pointing forward towards the shoulders. Really firm the elbows in towards each other. That's going to help open up the fronts of the shoulders. And on an inhale, start to peel the chest away from the floor so that you are now in baby cobra. And in baby cobra, keep the tops of the feet firming into the mat or the floor. That's going to help to bring space across the lower back. Stop you crunching into the lower back. And now push into the hands. Push yourself back up into tabletop and come back into child's pose. And now continue the movement, bringing the hands back behind you and then lifting the front of the hips again. And then bring the hips back down and keep moving this time. So you're going to move through tabletop, leave the hands under the shoulders when they reach there, and then come all the way forward and down to the mat. Lift up into baby cobra. Roll the shoulders up and back. And then push into the hands and flow back through child's. And lift the hips. And one more time, sweeping forward. Lifting the chest. And then moving through child's. Sweeping the hands back, moving with the waves of the breath, lifting the hips. And then this time, coming forward to tabletop and landing there for a moment. And we're going to take some cat-cows. On an inhale, the sternum comes towards the gateway of the arms, moving the chest through the gateway of the arms. On an exhale, the belly button firms towards the spine, rolling up into your cat. And then starting to move between those two positions on the breath. Moving with the breath, marrying your movement to the breath and feeling how the breath is almost an internal assist that supports the movements, that deepens the movements. And then come to stillness, and you're going to bring your right foot forward and come into a low lunge with the back knee down. I'm going to show you this from the side. So take a breath there, really push the right foot into the mat and feel, refine how you monitor your movement and feel that push of the foot into the mat can open up the front of the left hip, your hip flexors. And if you've been sitting all day, this should feel quite nice and pretty juicy, like opening up that hip flexor. And the next movement will feel pretty good too. Lean forward, the hands find their way to the mat or to something high, a block, or even move past temporarily to find the ground, and then stretch the right leg long in front of you. And this is your half split. And you can take this upright too. Or you can fold over the front leg. And you want to kind of traction without moving that front heel towards yourself to get some length into the back of that right leg. Take a breath there, and then fold to that knee again and lift yourself up to your lunge. This time lifting your hands up, palms face one another. A breath there, and then sweep forward. And once again, the front leg comes out long. Stretching first the hip flexor and then the calf and the hamstring on the right leg. And once again, if you've been sitting all day, both movements should feel pretty good. And then the third lunge. And this time coming back to tabletop and switching out your legs so that the left leg is now in front. And we'll take those movements again. And inhale, rise up. Pushing the feet down into the mat, rooting to get lift in the chest, and then bringing yourself through and lingering for a moment in your half split. Feeling that length, making sure that you're not hyperextending the knee, so don't lock the front knee. And inhale there, and then move, shimmy that left foot back towards you and lifting the chest, lifting the arms. Take a breath there and then come into half split again. Stretch the back of the legs, stretch the front of the legs. And then bring that foot back in, rise up long. And one more time, we're going to come through into a half split. Bring the foot in towards you and see if this time you can bring the back leg forward and find yourself in your full forward fold. So the upper body is now draping over the legs, and you can hook the thumbs to the inside of the elbow and hang for a moment in ragdoll. If there's another arm position that you love for forward folds, feel free to take that. Some popular ones are to place the hands on the floor if they reach. Another option is to move the hands to the back of the legs, and this can feel quite nice because it can help you deepen the fold, but bend the knees so that your first forward fold is a little gentler. You might find that it's deeper than usual because we've just literally been working on the hip flexors and hamstrings. And so bend the knees also if you feel anything in the lower back, and just dangle, perhaps moving, perhaps swaying side to side, luxuriating in this hanging, this release of the spine. And now unravel your hands from the position you've chosen and bring the palms to the front of the shins, and on an inhale, bring yourself into your half fold. In a half fold, very active. The hips are kind of pulling back away from the head. The crown of the head, the part of the hair is moving forward, and the core is engaged in your half fold. So when we visit it in Sun Salutation A, bear that in mind, that this isn't a posture that you drive past. It's quite active posture, and it's highly related to the feelings in the upper body that you have in plank. And then the arms radiate out and come all the way to standing, palms face each other above the head, and then land the hands for a moment and find your comfortable mountain pose. So for some of you, that is going to be feet beneath the hips, so hips width distance apart. That will give you a little more space in the lower back, and especially if you have back issues, you want to find that space probably in the evening right now. And then the other option is toes together, heels apart, and then pushing the feet into the ground and pushing particularly the big toe mound, that fleshy part beneath the big toe, into the ground, making sure the ankles aren't buckling out. And you want to spin the inner thighs back. We're starting to activate the legs. It's like a key component of the dancer poses, the activity, the space, everything that's going on in the legs. And then the collarbones are wide, but the front ribs are softening down towards the ground. As you stand firm in mountain, take one more breath there, and we're going to take Sun Salutation A. Inhale, the arms rise up. Exhale, hinging at the hips and moving out and down into a full fold. On an inhale, find the plank in the upper body as you come into your half fold. And exhale, folding down over the legs. And now frame the feet with your hands so the tips of your fingers are in line with the tips of your toes on either side. And then step to plank. And if you're a practice practitioner, feel free to jump to low plank. And we are going to, you can bring the knees to the floor in plank as well. Bring yourself forward, hinging slightly, and then start to release the body towards the ground by bending the elbows. If it's in your practice, hover in half plank, or at least pause and kiss half plank as you make your way all the way to the ground. And now you have a choice. You can either take that baby cobra as a back bend, or sphinx if that's in your practice, or you can place the hands by the lower ribs and rise all the way up to the first big back bend, upward facing dog. Upward facing dog, the legs are off the mat. The chest is moving forward. There's space along the entire front of the body and the tops of the feet. The shoelace side is down on the mat and then flipping over the toes, coming back into downward facing dog. 3 breaths. And in your downward facing dog, the gaze is moving down between the feet. You shouldn't be able to see your heels, so your feet are parallel to one another, and make sure that the feet are hips width distance apart at least. Once again, giving space to your hips, giving space to your sacrum at the back of your hips during downward facing dog. Breath is even, and then after your 3rd breath, I'm going to give you 2 options. You can either walk towards your feet so you end up in your half fold, or you can bend the knees and lift the hips on an inhale, and as you exhale, hop forward, and use the exhale to drive that hop forward. Dangle for a moment in your forward fold, and then inhale, expanding into half fold, exhaling down and rising all the way up. And then landing the hands for a moment. Take a breath there, mountain, and we'll take that again. And this time I'll instruct the breath more. Inhale, exhale to your forward fold, finding the bottom of the forward fold on the bottom of the breath. Inhale, expanding, half fold, exhale, jump to half plank if that's in your practice, or step to plank and lower either to half plank or all the way to the mat. Rise up into your back bend of choice and then flow back, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Really starting to get the beauty of the sun salutation A sequence, moving the shoulders and you're moving the hips. Warming both up, softening both if you've been in a position where they might get stiff during the day. And now on an inhale, lift the right leg high up behind you. And then bring it forward to the chest. Hover for a moment. Knee towards the chest. Hold it. You can do it. And then unfold the knee and try to land it by the right hand. And if it doesn't reach the right hand, no problem. Just scooch the foot forward till it lands by the right hand. And then bring the back knee down. And we're going to make sure, first of all, that the knee is stacked over the ankle of the right leg. So you want that alignment. It's very important for the structural integrity of your standing poses. And you have a choice. You can stay here with the back knee down, or you can curl over the back toe and come up to a higher lunge. Arms rise up, palms face one another, and then palms meet. Bring them down in front of the heart and bring the chest forward. So the sternum, I'm going to show you from the front. My sternum's coming straight towards you. It's coming to the inside of my right leg. And the reason I'm working it like that is to make sure that I don't hinge out to the side, because what I want to do is now turn into the twist without adding additional movements. And you can hook the left arm, the left elbow over the right thigh, so you are turning towards the bent front leg, or you can bring the left hand to the ground just by the right foot and open up into the twist by opening the arm. There's going to be more of an open twist, and especially if you have back issues at all, you don't want to overdo twists in particular. Breath there. And then as you exhale, deepen the twist using the breath as an assist in the movement. And then unwind and open up, windmilling the arms open until you find Warrior Two. And in Warrior Two, that same integrity in the structure of the knee to ankle relationship in the front leg. The back leg is strong and straight. The hips are even. And even for a moment, bring your hands to the hips and check that they're in line. A common thing that the body tends to do in this posture is lift the back hip. And right now, you don't want to do that. You want to keep them even. In fact, flow out for a moment, straighten the front leg, open the arms, And now flow back in as if both sides of the hip are on the same step of an escalator. They come down together. And then open it up and the gaze goes out over the right hand, over the middle finger of the right hand, in fact. Back leg is straight. The back of the back foot, your left foot, is like it's glued to the mat. So a lot of the integrity of this posture comes out of the back foot. Gaze is focused, gaze is strong. Hold steady, hold where you are. Take a deep breath in, and then open it up for a moment. Reverse your warrior. So the right hand to the front hand, straight up towards the ceiling, and the muscles of breath between the ribs, stretching, opening up, and then spiral out and cartwheel your way out. And you have the choice of going through your vinyasa. By that I mean plank, low plank, up dog, down dog, or step straight back to down dog. Option to take child's pose, option to kneel, option to, of course, take a drink of water anytime you like, and option to go to tabletop. So you have your options. The main thing, though, that you want to do at this point is really come back into the breath. Make sure the breath is even, so that even if the energy, the heartbeat is ruffled right now, the breath can bring it back down. A long breath in, a long breath out. And then we're going to take that series of poses on the other side. If you are in child's pose or tabletop, take 2 more breaths there, and then bring yourself back to downward dog. And once you're in down dog, now lift your left leg high up behind you, and then bring it in. And that lifting of the leg gives you a little bit of runway to bring the knee in toward the chest. Fold the knee in, lift, and even round the back if needed here to lift the knee, and then unfold the knee and land it either by the left hand or wherever it lands, scooch forward. And then you're going to bring the back knee down and come up into your lunge. First in this position, you may need to check everything is anatomically good in the front knee. And then we're going to have the option to lift the back knee off the mat and come into crescent lunge. And in crescent lunge, this time being aware that the hips can move out of alignment, particularly the back hip can tend to move back. And the front hip kind of tends to move out to your left. So you want to firm the front hip, the left hip into midline, and bring the back hip forward, both those actions, and then lift the arms, breathe there, and then that same movement with the hands, so the hands meet one another and come down, and then you come forward down your midline before you now twist over your left leg. Option to hook the upper arm over the left thigh, that will be the upper arm of your right upper arm. Option to bring the right hand inside the left foot and then open up into your twist. A little bit more of an open twist position rather than the bound pretzel-y kind of version of the twist that happens when you hook the elbow. Long breath there, hold it. Of course you can bring the back knee down to your mat whenever you like. One more breath there, and then spiraling open and finding your way to warrior 2. And once again, we're going to come out of it for a second, hands on the hips to monitor what they do and keep the hands even like as if you're on a plumb line. Start to move, bend the front knee and move, warrior 2. Gaze is firm over the front hand. A long breath there, and a long breath out. Hold it. Be the pose, be warrior 2 for a moment. Be in the breath. Hold the gaze. And come into the strength of your body, the strength of your legs that can hold you here. Collarbones are wide, chest is twisted so the chest is twisted, the upper body's twisted so that it's in line with the inside of the front leg. Make sure that the front knee is tracking towards the second toe and the toes of the front foot are pointing to 12 o'clock. Sort of straight down line with you. And then on an inhale, rising up into your reverse warrior, finding this luxurious space and opening in the upper body. And then spiraling your way out. And once again, you have that choice of taking the vinyasa, plank, low plank, up dog, down dog, or moving straight back to down dog, or any other posture that you would like, meaning either child's pose or tabletop. Take a long breath there. And then when you're ready, take a deep breath in, lift the right leg high up behind you and step it forward till it lands by the right foot. Scooch it forward if needed. And you might want to shuffle the back foot in this time. You can keep the back heel lifted. And then come forward and rise up, and this time straighten the front leg. We're going to come into pyramid pose. Long breath there. And as you exhale, bring the hands to the hips and start to move the front body into a half fold position. And then find something to hold onto. It could be blocks, it could be a book, it could be the wall, something that holds you here and balanced. Take a long breath there and feel length along the front and back of the body. And then on an exhale, allow the head to roll down towards the shin, moving into your folded pyramid pose. And you can always stay upright in the pyramid pose. Take a breath there. And then the hands come flat to the mat and step the right foot back. And we're going to take that same thing on the left side. So lift the left foot high. You might want to hop the right foot a little forward because pyramid is often just a slightly shorter stance. And then bring the left foot forward. Come up for a moment just to find your length, just to make sure that the hands on the hips, that the hips are even. And then coming forward all the way down. And you have the choice of either stretching the back long in your pyramid or moving the head down towards the knee. Take a long breath there, and then stepping straight back to down dog. Bring yourself forward into your plank and lower all the way to the mat. And we're going to take some back bends here. So bring your hands forward and be very careful with back bends in general. The first one we're going to take is Sphinx. And you can stay with Sphinx if you feel anything at all in the lower back, then move back to Sphinx. So the forearms are in front of you, the fingers they're not moving, but they're tractioning back towards you, and you can feel that when you roll your shoulder blades back and you bring in that traction, you can get a little deeper of a back bend. And then the top, the shoelace side of the foot, as in baby cobra, is pushing down onto the mat. And that's really an action that protects the lower back. And you want this sensation that the inner thighs are actually rolling up towards the ceiling. And if you just test that, roll the inner thighs up towards the ceiling and then let them go for a moment. And then do it again. You should feel that there's a widening across the lower back. And now bring the left hand diagonally across so it lands beneath the right hand. Take a breath there. And now bend the right leg and reach back and see if you can grab it. If you can't, no big, just bring your right hand back down. If you can, grab the foot, and this is a half bow, and start to lift. And we're starting to get into the movements. Essentially, this is dancer, but lying on your belly. So later, when we reach dancer, if you prefer, you could practice it here, but I would encourage you to try dancer. Even as you grab your foot, you want to keep the front of the shoulders spiraling forward so that sternum, your breastbone, is in line with your nose as far as possible. And then let it go and bring the hands back to your sphinx. We're going to put the hands under the shoulders and take some cat-cows for a moment. Just to lengthen, especially in the cat pose, the rainbow arch of the back, the lower back, and then come back down to sphinx. And this time bring the right hand beneath the left hand. So you have a nice diagonal strut with your forearm to support you. And then reach back and see if you can grab either your left foot or your left shin, and then start to push that shin away from you. So you're practicing both reaching the leg, but also using that leg to open up the front of the shoulder, because the leg's kicking away from you and lifting you a little bit. And then let it go. Keep breathing, I should have told you, during that posture. And then inhale, come forward. Exhale, roll up and back. And now bring your right foot forward, all the way forward in front of you into a lunge, and start to creep that front foot forward. What we're doing now is getting a little extra opening in the front of the left hip. Reach there for a moment. Abide in this posture for a moment, and then reach the arms up and perhaps lift the chest. So finding opening along the entire front, from the knee to the shoulder of the left side of the body. Bring the hands back down for a breath and swap the legs out. So now the left leg comes forward, rising away from the mat and starting to creep that front foot forward, and see, bringing that opening into the front of the right hip now. And don't creep it forward so much that the tailbone starts arching out or going into a duckish kind of position. We're going to control what's happening around the hips. Get the opening, but with control. So the tailbone's softening down a little bit towards the mat. You're not tucking the tailbone either, but it's just softening down. And then lift the hands up. And perhaps coming into a bit of a back bend here. And in your back bend, you're not falling back towards the ground. You're lifting the chest up towards the ceiling. And then come out on an exhale. And bring both feet together. Spin a moment in your forward fold. And then the arms radiate out and all the way up. And shake out the legs, and we're going to take the dancer pose. So, firm the right foot in towards the ground, lift both arms up, and leave your right arm up in the air. Start to bring your weight into your right foot, and bring the left arm down, and see if you can bring it back and catch the ankle. This is dancer. You could make this your dancer, and you can definitely do this by a wall and hold the wall to support the balance so that you can then fully come into the posture. A big breath there. And now start to kick the back shin back, moving up and out, keeping the chest lifted. There is a back bend here. Keeping the chest lifted, coming into dancer, keeping the breath moving, keeping the eyes on one spot with laser precision so that you can use that spot to hold you up. One more breath. I'm going to come back out mindfully, slowly, and then take that on the other side. So now the left foot, shake out the legs for a moment. The left foot pushes down into the mat. Both arms rise up. Leave the left arm up where it is, or use it to grab something for balance if that's helpful. And then move the right hand back. Grab the ankle or the foot, whatever you can reach with from the outside. So my back of my hand is facing straight towards the screen right now. I'm grabbing my right foot from the outside, and then start to kick back, start to move forward, keep the chest lifted as you can, keep the chest square towards the front of your mat, lift the back leg any amount more, and then take a breath, hold it there, hold your gaze, put your mind in your stability of your standing foot, and then bring everything back into center and shake out the legs. Take that once more on each side. So start to bring the weight now into the right foot again. Lift the right arm up. Grab the back foot from the inside this time. So we're going to take a fuller expression a little bit. And then start to move back into the posture. And take, if you're practiced in this posture, take any arm variations that you would like. There's a lot of beautiful variations on this pose, including the king dancer, bending the elbows and grabbing the leg. And there's a mermaid variation. And then bring yourself out. And being in your space, on your mat, take this one final time on the other side. This time grabbing the foot, your right foot from the inside, to get a little more opening in the shoulder, and then opening up, dancer, floating, feeling that there's some kind of level of, some feeling of creation in this pose. Feeling that the world is anew, afresh, when you build your dancer pose. Deep breath in, come out, shake out the legs, and then move the feet so the toes are pointing outwards, knees are in line with the toes. Come into star pose so that the limbs are all moving out in the diagonal, and then bring the hands together above the head, and we're going to move to Malasana, which is the yoga squat. If you have any knee issues, move straight to the next posture, which will be seated on the mat with the soles of the feet together and knees out in a diamond shape, but with the soles of the feet far away from you. Otherwise, move down into your yoga squat. Bringing those hip flexors in, folding them in, where once they were just opening wide and stretching. And you want both feet flat on the ground in Malasana. You want to kind of feel that the little toe side of the foot is pushing down so the knees and the feet aren't buckling in. And then there's a lift in the chest. Your weight's not being dumped into your hips here. You're not actually sitting in the hips. The chest is lifted. And then the hands come on either side of the seat of the hips and bring the legs forward and shake them out. And now put the legs, plant the feet about hips width apart in front of you, and take the right leg over the left. And that may mean that you scoot the left foot away from you. It could mean that you scoot the left foot in towards you, depending on your personal flexibility. Hands are behind you, and we're taking a figure 4 stretch, stretching out the outside of the right hip. Take a breath there, keep the chest lifted, and don't let the lower back round. So there's like a lift in this posture. It's the same lift that you have in the boat posture, in fact, if you know that one. This one. And then move the hands away from you for a moment and the feet away so you can unravel and take the figure 4 stretch on the other side. Left foot now comes over the right thigh. Find that nubby part of your ankle and make sure that's on the outside of the thigh, that that's not balancing on the thigh, and keep the left foot active. So it's as if it's standing on something. That's all to make sure that the knee is not talking, that you're activating muscles to keep the knee safe, the lifted knee. A breath there. Feel the stretch on the outside of the hip. And then unwind for a moment. And then bring the right foot in towards the right hip. So as if you could stand on that foot. So to show you from the side, my one knee's bent, the other leg is straight. The other leg, the straight leg, very active, even though it's not the star of this pose necessarily. Take a deep breath in there, and as you exhale, turn towards the bent leg and into the twist. And you can bring the elbow to the outside of the leg. You can take the gaze back over the right shoulder. With each inhale, feeling length along the sides of the body. With each exhale, deepening the twist. And use the exhales. Don't just use the hand hugging around the knee or hooked over the knee to deepen the twist. Really feel that your breath can deepen the twist too. And then unravel and let the right foot come to the inside of the left thigh, or it can be on the inside of the left shin if that's more comfortable. If the right knee, is high up off the floor, you may want to put a book or a pillow underneath it, whatever you can grab, a cushion, whatever's nearby, a blanket, your sweater, a sweatshirt. Take an inhale there, and then keeping the chest lifted, length along the front of the body, start to crawl the fingers like very friendly spiders towards the left foot. And you can stay here with the chest lifted. If you're feeling it, you can bend fully into a posture. Janu Shirshasana, head to knee pose, but it's really head in the direction of the knee. It doesn't mean the head has to meet the knee. Breath there. Feel the back start to release. Feel that you're fully supported now by the ground beneath the seat, beneath the legs. And keep the breath moving. And then on exhale, walk your way out and switch legs. So now the left knee first comes in towards you. On an inhale, rise up, and as you exhale, turn over the knee and come into your twist. So again, I'll show you from the side. Breath there. And with each inhale, feeling a lift. With each exhale, feeling the twist. And now come back to the midline with the torso and let the left knee fall out. And once again, supporting it if it doesn't quite reach the ground. Another option in this posture is just to move the straight leg a little bit to the diagonal. And then you want to turn and have the sternum, whichever position the straight leg is in, sort of in line with the toes as you move towards it. So that's why I was instructing reach, like with the chest, reach for the toes or for the floor in front of the toes and bring yourself forward. And this time I'm going to stay upright to show you that. Fingertips are on the ground, tented and lifting, because it's this lifting that ultimately helps the pose to become deeper over time with each practice. And then walk the fingers back out, lift yourself up and find your way lying down on the mat. An option to take any final postures that are in your practice that your body is craving right now. Something that might feel quite nice now is Happy Baby. It's rocking gently on the back. Another one is to have the soles of the feet together, the knees apart, And if shoulder stand or headstand are in your practice, feel free to take those. Not handstand. You want to take like softening inversions. And take 5 or 6 breaths in your posture of choice. Feeling the gaze soften, whichever posture you've taken. Feeling the belly start to soften if you're in a happy baby. And feeling that you're stable, that you're moving towards the ground. And now wherever you are, start to move out of the posture, or you can always stay in the posture you're in if you're in a complex posture and take Shavasana in your own time. But I'm going to cue and instruct the end of the class now, so the knees come in towards the chest. Rock gently, playfully, and keeping the backs of the shoulders firm and flat on the ground. Allow the legs to move out to the right side. Hands can be out to a soft T, or they can be in goalpost, arms above the head. And the face, the head can turn and gaze for a moment over the left shoulder. And feeling now that rather than efforting into this twist, that you're allowing gravity and the exhale to deepen the posture, so that you can find depth in this posture without effort. Bring the knees back to center. Make sure the spine is still along the midline of your mat. Hug them in for a moment and then allow them to drop to the left. Keeping both shoulders on the ground and perhaps turning the gaze over the right shoulder. A deep breath there. And a deep breath out. And then bring the knees back to center for a moment. Let the legs go long out along the mat, and perhaps the muscles of the legs soften, in which case, well, the feet will start to turn out. The arms can be long along the sides of the body, or they can be hands landed on the belly. Finding your way to a position where you can rest for a minute. Letting the eyes close for a minute. Letting yourself just move within yourself and focus inward for a minute. Start to deepen the breath. Feel the rise of the inhale, the softness of the exhale. Lifted, then grounded with each breath, like a wave softly moving. Then when one knee at a time, bend the knees in until they're both at the chest and hug the knees for a moment. Perhaps rocking side to side for a moment, till you find yourself gently rocking onto one side of the body And take a deep breath there. And a long exhale, perhaps a vocal sigh out. And then push the hands into the ground by your side and use them rather than relying only on the muscles of the belly to lift yourself up and find your way to a comfortable seated position. Keep the eyes closed for a moment, or if the eyes are open, turn the gaze downward. And then turn the palms up towards the ceiling. Lift the arms up until the palms meet above the head. And draw the palms down, tipping the chin in the direction of the palms for a moment. Feeling the rise of the breath and the softness of the exhale. And thank you all for joining me for practice. It's just a joy to have you all here. I'm Sabbi. I'll be back early tomorrow morning. Feel free to unmute yourself, say goodbye, and it was lovely to have you all in class. So I'll be back in the morning with a wake up and stretch at 7:30 a.m. Feel free to join me and join any of the other classes that are happening this week. And have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday.
Thank you, Sabbi.
Thank you. See if you can turn hump day into dancer day tomorrow. Bye. Bye. Bye, Flora. Bye, Shane. Kim, it was lovely to have you here. And Mariam, hi. Julia, bye. Thank you, Raquel, for joining us. Bye. And I'm going to sign off now. Have a beautiful evening. It's gorgeous out there.